Hi guys and girls, a little video here just talking through the revision exercise that I set you on standard form and then a separate one on the indices bit. So standard form, really the key thing to remember is that you're going to have powers of 10 and you're going to have decimals, and the decimal part must be between 1 and 9. Anytime you're moving decimal places to the left, it's going to be a positive index, and moving to the right is going to be a negative index. So let's crack on. For this one, our decimal is going to be 1.44 times 10 to the, and we're going to move it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 places. And since we moved that way, it's positive 6. Right, hard disk can store 2.4 times 10 to the 9. How many floppy disks can you store? Or I needed to store the same amount of data, so we need to do 2.4 times 10 to the 9 over 1.44 times 10 to the 6. My advice is to split it into do the decimal part and then do the powers of 10 and put it together at the end. So do 2.4 over 1.44. 240 over 144 divisible by 12. That's yeah, that works. Brain fart moment. What are they divisible by? 4. 5 over 3, which is 1 2/3. So your decimal part, go to 3 sig fig and be 6, 7. And then the powers of 10, we've got a 9 here. You're dividing, so you take away. So 9 take away 6 is 3. Right, the decimal on that is going to be a 1. You don't even really need the 1, but technically, well, actually no, yeah, put it in. So we've got 3, 6, 7, 8 there. And we've gone to the right, right. Can you tell my left from my right then? Gone to the right, so it's negative. Excuse me, I had a hiccup. How many? Computer can take 5 nanoseconds to do a calculation. How many can do in 1 second? So we've got 1 second, which I would write as that because we're using standard form, over 5 times 10 to the nanosecond, which is minus 8. So again, do the bit that's not got the powers of 10. So that's 0.2. Well, actually, it's got to be 2. Let me do the other bit first. 10 to the 0, 10 to the minus 8. So 0 minus minus, because it's, well, when you divide, you take away. So that's going to be 10 to the 8. So we would have 0.2 times 10 to the 8. However, 0.2 is not a standard form number. It has to be 2. And then because you've moved your decimal to the left one, to the right one more place, told you didn't know my left from my right, you've got to take one away from your index, which will leave you with 7. Next one on the decimal is going to be a 4. And we are moving it 3, 6, 7 places positively. The next one's going to be, that means the 3 goes in the 5th decimal place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, effectively multiply those two together, so I get 3 times 10 to the minus 5 times 4 times 10 to the 7. Again, do the bit that's not powers of 10 first, so that'll give me 12. Then do the powers of 10. If you're multiplying bases, you add the powers. We know that's going to be 1200. So as a standard form number, because it does say give your answer in standard form up there, don't lose easy marks. It'll be 1.2 times 10 to the 3. 1, 2, yep, 10 to the 3. Right, same thing. Multiply them together. So that gives me 14.4. multiply them together, which is going to give me 10 to the 9. But again, this is not a standard form number, it has to be 1.44. We have moved it positively that way. That was my phone just go off. And that was my doorbell. Delivery. Anyway, moved it that way, so I've got to add 1 to my index. 10 to the 10. We've already had that question. Let's get rid of that. This one means that the 1 is going in the 5th decimal place. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you write the 4 after it. Right. Same idea. Multiply the bits that aren't 10s together first. So 5 times 6 gives me 30. Then do the powers of 10. 9. That's going to give me a 13. But 30 is not standard form. 3 is. So I've moved the decimal 1 place to the left, so I've got to add 1 to what I already had. If you can hear more ringing in the background, that's the cat bells. No one's leaving me alone today. Right, next one. 4.56 is going to be the decimal. I've moved it 3, 4, 5 places. For the next one, 3.4 is going to be the decimal, and I'm moving it 4 places, but this time I'm going the other way. It's going negative. 1.6 is not a standard form, 16 is not a standard form number, 1.6 is. Moved it further to the left, so I've got to add 1 to the power. This means that the 5 is going in the 4th decimal place. 1, 2, 3, 4, and you just write 7 after. Numbers that are not 10s first, then the numbers that are 10s. Add the powers. This is not standard form, but 2.1 is. Oh Lord. So you've moved that to the left 1. So it means you've got to add 1 to the power you already had. Number 8. 3 is the decimal, and you've moved it 3, 6, 7 places. This means that the 2 goes in the 3rd decimal place. 7.9 is the decimal, and you've moved it 1, 2, 3 places. 3.5 is the decimal, and you've moved it 3, 4 places. But this time it's gone to the right, so it needs to be a negative. Oh wait. Do the bit that's not 10s first, so 4 over 8, that is, as a decimal, 0.5. And then 10 to the 3 over 10 to the minus 5 is 10 to the 3 minus 5. So 3 plus 5 is 8. However, this is not a standard form number, but 5 is. You had to move it to the right one, which means you have to take 1 off your power. That one doesn't look particularly nice. Okay, let's see what we've got. So I'm first of all going to simplify that bit. Don't like that it's got 2 numerical bits, so I'm going to do 4.4 times 10 to the 12 times 1.5 times 10 to the 12 over, can't really do a lot down there yet, 10 to the 12. Now, all of our tricks of indices don't include adding and subtracting, so for the denominator, you're just going to have to work it out. Where's it all gone? There it is. So I'm going to work out the top. I'm going to do 4.4 times 1.5, that's 6.6. And 10 to the 12 times 10 to the 12 is 10 to the 24. And then 2.2 minus 1.5 is 0.7. Times 10 to the 12. It's not going to be to the 24 or to the 0 or anything like that, because the rules don't apply for adding and subtracting. Right, what I can do now is split it like I would have done before, so do that bit first. So 66 over 7. I can get to 63, that would be 9. And 3/7 left over. 3/7 is 4/3, because it asked me to 3 significant figures, 9.43. I know that a seventh is about 14 and a bit %, so I just times it by 3. And the power of 10 part is going to be 10 to the 12, so I get 9.43 times 10 to the 12. Right, last question on this part. Multiplying by 4, so the 6 goes in the 4th positive column. So you've got your units, tens, hundreds, thousands. So the 4th one is the thousands. Or you can physically move the decimal if you like. Do 6.4. Go 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 1 too many jumps. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 4th column. Silly sausage. It's not the 6. She tells a lie. It's the 4 that goes in the 4th column. Ah, dear me. Okay, next one, write that in standard form. So 3.9 times 10 to the, and we've moved it 1, 2, 3, minus 3 because we moved to the right. And write that in standard form. Well, that's not a standard form number, but 2.5 is. I moved my decimal right one, so I have to take 1 off the power, which is 6. Right, there'll be another link to the Lords of Indices bit as well for you to mark your own stuff. See you in a bit, bye.